surrender should be there. If you surrender, God can interfere into your life. He told us that he heard a voice. This is the last time you're seeing her. If I close my eyes, I can see Swami. She didn't finish that sentence. Interview. We have good experiences and bad experience, good things and bad things. If somebody told you, what do you think of an accident? It's a bad experience. But when Swami comes into it, bad can become good. Bad can become so good that it becomes like a blessing, and you actually remember it again and again and again. While in ordinary circumstances, something which is very hurtful, you'll avoid it. You'll bottle it. You will not face it. But with Swami, the worst of experiences can become an occasion of his love. My parents had this experience, and which impacted all our lives. This is a rather long story, so I beg your patience. I'll start where it all started. When I was a little girl, I used to get dreams. And in my dreams, I used to dream that I'm orphaned. Me and my sister, we don't have parents. And our mother's side of relatives and father's side of relatives are saying, we will take care of the children, we will take care of the children. Something like this is going on. And I put it down to seeing too many movies and reading too many books, because there was no meaning in this dream. And then what happened was, one day my mother got a dream. She dreamt that that time Swami was in Vrindavan. And she suddenly saw him in her dream, and she said, oh, Swami, you're back. And Swami said, no, I had gone to Anantapur. Those girls were not letting me come back. What to do and all that. And suddenly she noticed he had these huge patches on his head, with no hair on that. So she said, Swami, what happened to you? Then he said, see, and he showed those two places where there's no hair. And then he said, my mother said, you have such beautiful hair, Swami, you can cover it up. And, they had this conversation about hair. And this sounds very strange, but why I want to tell you this is because it has relevance to what happened later. This was our dreams. And then, in the darshan ground, Swami would suddenly call my father and say, Rao, are you ready? So, yes, Swami. Good. Always be ready. And then he told him, suddenly one day he called him and he started telling him the story of Prahlada, and then the story of, Mirabai, so many devotional stories. And then he said, surrender should be there. If you surrender, God can interfere into your life. You must surrender. So continuously he would give these messages. We never knew this was going somewhere. Then, on February 9th, he called them. This was the year 1989. Swami called them for an interview, my mother, my father, that picture which I showed you earlier. And my sister was in school, so she came for that interview. And Swami blessed my mother, Dirgha Sumangali Bhava. He gave her a mango yellow sari, blessed her profusely. I think that was the day he decided to interfere into their lives. Later, people told us that Swami had already told some of the officials, start looking for somebody else. Rao won't be there. They were wondering what it meant. How can he not be there? He is very much there. But there was definitely something written for them. Then came the day on which this happened. Even that had some precursor. The day, a few days before that, every time Swami was in Vrindavan, Prashanti Nilayam would be going up and down. Early morning, 3 o'clock, vans will be taken and people would go to Vrindavan. 7 o'clock, Swami would give darshan. After darshan, everybody would return. So this was a regular thing. And one time before this before March, when my parents had gone to Vrindavan, suddenly Swami told all Parthi people have to go back early. And he quickly took Aarti and literally pushed all of them out early. You should go early, you should not travel late night and early morning. All this, nobody took it more than that. It seems the night before they were to leave the next day, people would come and give letters to whoever is going. So Bhagya sir was there, who's our neighbor. He came to give a letter to my parents. He knocked at our door. My mother opened the door. He gave the letter. And when he was giving the letter, he suddenly stared at her for some time. She said, "What happened, sir?" He smiled, he gave it. Later he told us that he heard a voice. "This is the last time you're seeing her." So he felt a tinge of thing. We had Kuppu Swamis, another professor, who used to live opposite us. That night, he got a dream that he was carrying dead bodies. So he came and told his wife, "I dreamt this." She said, "I'm also coming with you to Patti tomorrow." So the next morning, about 3 van load of all the teachers and students left for Patti, Vrindavan.